Greetings, my name is Stan Hustad. I'm a longtime teacher, international radio broadcaster, a speaker, a seminar leader, and a business performance coach for many years. And what I'm doing right now is somewhat what I was born to do. It's what I love to do. It's be on the radio. What It Takes Radio is right now, a premier pilot program in which we're going to launch a new radio service for all of you who truly want to make your mark in the world. You want to make good friends. You want to enjoy true success. You're trying to discover what does it take to do all that. And then once I discover how can I design a way to do it, and then how can I find the courage and the encouragement to really do it? That's what It Takes Radio is all about, and you're going to be a part of it. Not only, hopefully, will you listen and recommend us to others, but this is how the program will usually go. It'll be me, your primary host, but other people will jump in. They've got talent from all around the world lined up to join us on What It Takes Radio, and then you will discover that we have a variety of entrepreneurial contributors who will bring not only their expertise, but their wisdom and their insight, because that is what it takes: wisdom, insight, and some real ability to face and have the courage to face the truth. They're going to be bringing us ideas, skills, stories, and strategies to help us. And then we're going to be interviewing people just like you. That's right. We're going to be interviewing entrepreneurs all around the world so they can tell us their story. Share with us something that will be helpful and useful to us together, and then perhaps we're actually going to build a community of people who stay connected, all trying to be one of the 3% of the population who knows who they are, what they want, and they're working a plan, and they're finding the way to do what it takes to become all that they can be and do what is important to them, what truly matters. Only 3% of the population are that way, live that way, and have the courage and the risk-taking ability to do that. And we want you to be one of them. And this will be a way of perhaps making that happen for you. So that's a little bit about where the show is planning to go, but like everything else, events come, and one of the key abilities, particularly of those of us who want to lead and those of us who want to make a difference, is how do we respond to events? People say, do you have a plan? Well, let me tell you, in today's world, the plan is not necessarily the most important thing. The plan might be helpful, but to paint a picture of what you want to achieve and then be able to respond to events. I've been told that some of the great leaders have said, no, it's not your plan. It's how well you respond to what happens. Because you can't plan for the truly both great opportunities and the great tragedies that will happen. As one of my mentors said, please keep in mind, Stan, you will suffer great defeats. And when you do, we're going to find out who you really are and what kind of character you really have. Can you come back? Can you make it back? So, a little bit of thoughts about that. So, here's what I want to do right now. I want to hopefully help you understand what this is all about so you can start to think about this. All right? So, here we go. First of all, I really want to encourage you to think about something that I just put out in the last few months. In 1936, 80 years ago, a guy named Dale Carnegie. Now, remember, this was right in the 30s, in the midst of the economic, not recession, depression. In the midst of all the things that were going on, the world was coming to the crisis that will lead to the Second World War. And you know what? Dale Carnegie asked that same question. What is it going to take for me to make my mark in the world? And he asked a lot of people, found a lot of mentoring, and what actually happened is he came about with a little book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. You've heard about it. It's still around. It's still one of the best sellers 80 years later. How to Win Friends and Influence People. And that caused me, because I've read that a number of times, and I said, but there's things that perhaps they didn't know in 1936, and certainly the communications media and things have changed, and of course we've changed. So I put together a new class and course, and it's going to be a coming book called How to Make Good Friends and How to Make Your Mark. How to build that platform where you stand up, you stand out, you're not invisible, and you make your mark. And that's what this radio program is going to try and help you do. Make good friends and make your mark, and move on from there. And what we've discovered is that there are some real ways that might help you do that. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my reading glasses back on, and we're going to tell you some of the things that will go in to helping you make your mark. The first thing is that you will ask the question, who are you? That's right. Who are you? Fundamental issue. Who are you? Do you believe that there's something special about your birth, your destiny? Or are you just one of those accidents of evolution? Do you believe that? Do you believe that there is something unique and powerful, perhaps transcendent and spiritual about you? Or are you just another one of the animals walking on planet Earth? Eventually, we're going to have to take a time out and discover the answer to that question. Who are you? And if you were right here talking to me right now, right on the radio, how would you answer that question? How would you say, who are you? Now, as I often said on the radio when I was broadcasting all around the world, just let that sit on your head for a while. All right? Who are you? Now, I'm going to ask you this question, all right? Can you be fruitful? Fruitful! No, doesn't mean you're full of fruit and nuts, no. What I mean by that is when I talk about fruitful, let's talk about an apple. Isn't it interesting that the man who truly changed the world, brought us the computer revolution, when he was looking for a symbol, decided it would be the apple. And the symbol in the ancient Hebrew scriptures of what we have to deal with is, how do we deal with the apple? A piece of fruit. Now, a fruit has these three qualities to it. If I have a piece of fruit, it's of value. I can eat it, or I can sell it. It's truly something of value. Either I can use it, or I can give it to other people, and they can give me compensation for it. How can I be fruitful? That means I produce value. Also, within that fruit, there will be seeds. You're going to have to spit them out, cut them out. But what the seeds are, that means that right there is the potential for growth, for leverage. Literally, within that apple, there is probably the potential for 10 or 12 apple trees, and all of the apples that will come from that for years to come. There is that generational leveraging that can go on. And thirdly, fruit is sweet. It is sweet. We ask the question, what does it take to be fruitful? All right, got that? Here's another word, flourish. Flourish. Now, that means that we're alive, that in effect we're doing things that happen, and they go, they grow, they show their space and place, and they actually make things happen. Okay? Fully alive. One of my favorite quotes comes from one of the mentors of Martin Luther King Jr. His name was Howard Thurman. And that proverbial question came up from one of his students is, I'm trying to decide what I should do with my life. Who am I and what am I supposed to do? And the conversation came around to is, well, I need to find out what the world needs. And when I find out what the world needs, I'll try and, sounds very, very nice. I'll try and fill that need. Good marketing, even more than good marketing, very commendable. Supposedly Howard Thurman said, don't ask what the world needs. What the world needs is people who are fully alive. So, discover what makes you become fully alive. Because what the world needs is people, our people, who are fully alive. Wouldn't that be an interesting way to live? Some years ago, one of my mentors, Brian Tracy, said that one of the real goals of life was peace of mind. And you know what? He's really got it right. Think what it'd be like to live with real peace of mind. No job worries, no money worries, nothing that can really upset the peace of your mind and heart and spirit. But I think there's more to that. I think Howard Thurman figured it out. It means to be fully alive. Now, to do that, we're going to have to fight our fears. Fear kills everything. Think of all the things you would do, all the things you could have done if you were fully alive. And you were not stopped by fear. How can we fight our fears? So we want to understand, okay, we're going to be fruitful. We're going to flourish. We're going to be fully alive, and we're going to fight our fears. And then we will fail. That's right. If you want to be fully alive, and if you want all of those good things to happen, I'm sorry. You are going to have some great defeats in your life. Adversity is part of the plan. Scott Peck said life is difficult. And so finally the challenge will be is how will you overcome the great defeats that may come into your life? There we go. I just want you to let these thoughts and ideas sit on your head for a while, and perhaps I'd encourage you to play this back. And I'm actually kind of putting this on our video, our YouTube channel. And as I oftentimes say, I've got a face made for radio, and as you see me on the video, you'll find out that's probably true, and see all my messing around with my different kinds of glasses. Okay, with that in mind, what it takes. It's going to be a conversation. You're going to listen in. You're going to participate. You're going to be guests. There's going to be resources. Now, we'll have stuff to sell. We've got people who want to be on the show, and Rush Limbaugh has that great line. He calls it an obscene profit break. Well, we're not going to do anything obscene, and we're not going to make that much profit, but there will be people, highly qualified people, who from time to time will sponsor what we do, and we'll offer their services to you because that helps pay the bills. We will also be giving to you a variety of classes and courses and products and services that will be available to you, and they'll be useful to you. And I guarantee you, everything is money back, and nothing that we talk about or advertise or put on will be harmful or hurtful to you or anybody. We not only do no harm, we do lots of positive good. And also with that is you will be invited to be a part of the events. You will be able to build your own radio station. You'll be able to become an entrepreneur. In effect, we want you to be fully alive and be able to change your life. As I said, you will discover what it takes, and then you'll design a way to do what it takes. And then, Nike got it right. You'll put on your shoes and you'll just do it. You will do what it takes. And then once you learn about that, you'll be wise enough and kind enough to share that wisdom that you obtained, that wisdom, insight, and truth, that wit with others. That's the deal. And now you know a little bit more about What It Takes Radio. Stay tuned. We've got a few things more on this, our pilot and first edition of Radio What It Takes.